That's just one thing that I have definitely learned over the many years of being in this world is that new Jeep owners learn very quickly that this is the most customizable vehicle on the market. And that's including down to minute details just to make it personal, or the full on extreme to make it the most off road capable. I have found so many people who are brand new to this world get so extremely overwhelmed when they start looking at what's available for the vehicle because they don't know where to start. So, in this video, we're going to break it down to three categories, folks, three categories of modifications. And then inside each one of those categories, we are going to talk about the most common modifications that you should probably consider starting with first, if that's the direction that you want to go. So welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is Josh, and today we are talking about your basic, simple, entry-level modifications that beginners usually ask a lot of questions about. So like I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to break it down into three categories. The first category is going to be for your off-road capabilities. And then we're going to talk about the three most common mods that you can do to make it a little bit more off-road capable. The second category that we're going to talk about is going to be protection and durability. And the three probably most common mods that you could do to protect your vehicle and to make it a lot more durable. Again, especially if you're going to use it off the beaten path. And then the third category we're going to talk about is comfort and convenience. And this is something that I know a lot of people, maybe my age, or look forward to a little bit more, is going to be the comfort and convenience. So stick around. We're going to cover all three topics and the three most common mods that we're going to do in those topics for a beginner to consider for their brand new Jeep. Now, on the topic of off-road capabilities, usually the first thing that comes up is tires. Now, we're not going to get deep into sizing and brands or tread or so on and so forth. Instead, I want you to just ask yourself a couple of questions. One, what do you plan on using the vehicle for primarily? Let's say 90% of its use is going to be in-city driving, then you don't necessarily need an aggressive tread tire. But if you're planning on using it a lot more often off-road, then maybe an aggressive tread tire is where you want to go. The second thing you need to ask yourself is, are you planning on increasing the tire size to increase your ground clearance? Well, if you are, then that leads us to the second most common thing that beginners are looking for off-road capability. Now, the second most common thing to discuss when you're talking about off-road capability is going to be your suspension system. Now, like I had mentioned, if you're planning on increasing your tire size in order to gain more ground clearance, and depending upon the model, you might need to increase the height of your suspension in order to clear those bigger tires. The most common lift sizes that are out there for the JK is probably about 3.5 inches. With 3.5 inches, you can clear anywhere from 35 to 37-inch tires. On the JL and JT models, 2.5 inches is pretty much all you need for a suspension lift to once again clear 35s or 37-inch tires. We're not going to get into what kind of lifts to buy. That's a topic for another day, but you should consider lifting the vehicle to clear those bigger tires that at this point you've already decided to purchase. Now, if you followed me through the first two, then we're going to talk about the third one. And this is one I see so many people skip, but they get really frustrated with down the line. Okay. If you're going to increase your tire size and you're going to increase the suspension ride height, you really need to consider replacing your rims. Now, here's why, okay? The factory wheels on a Jeep are set at a very strong backspacing with a very positive offset. Keeps the wheels inside the body, and it follows most of the laws in most of the states across the country. However, when you add the lift, the components that you replace, such as, for example, your sway bar end links, are going to increase in size. When they increase in size, now they start rubbing up against your rims. Also, with bigger tires height-wise, they tend to grow width-wise. And when they grow width-wise, you need to get them away from the suspension system, the control arms, the end links, so that they will still be free to move. Some people say wheel spacers is all you need. I am not a fan of wheel spacers by any means whatsoever. So replacing your rim with something that has a much lighter back spacing to it and a negative offset to it is actually going to increase your performance off-road and make it a lot more comfortable for you on-road with those bigger tires. Now, that's as deep as I'm going to get into it in this video. If you want more information on rim size and how to choose it for your Jeep, I'm going to link a video down in the description below that is very popular on my channel that is actually going to go into further detail on that. But now let's dive into the second most common category when it comes to modifications on a Jeep. Now, I had mentioned that the second category is going to be protection and durability. Well, what are we trying to protect? Well, if you are going to use it regularly off-road, you need to be able to protect the body and to protect your investment so it'll still look good every time you're done playing off-road. One of the biggest modifications for that is going to be a nice set of rock rails. There are one or two models out there, including the Rubicon, that come with a decent set of rocker guards already, because Jeep is fully aware that this is a weak point in the body that you don't want to see hit. But if yours didn't come with it, this is definitely top of the list in category 2 that I would consider. The next thing you want to consider is underneath the vehicle. There are some vital components to your driveline that are simply out in the open, such as your engine oil pan, your transmission, some models, your transfer case, your gas tank, so on and so forth. So a nice set of skid plates is definitely not a bad idea. A really good set of skid plates that don't really cost all that much just to protect your vital gear will definitely ensure durability and long life for your driveline components as you continually use your vehicle off-road. And finally, when it comes to protection, okay, a lot of beginners jump straight off to looking at recovery gear, such as a winch on the front of the vehicle. This really isn't a bad idea, especially if you're going to be out by yourself. Though I never recommend being out by yourself, having some recovery gear, such as a winch on the front, or even as simple as a set of traction boards, a shovel, and a tow strap that you carry along with you, is a great idea, simply to protect yourself in case you get hung up on something again while you're off road. Now, like I said, it's not my goal to jump in and recommend brands or recommend specifics when it comes to this kind of stuff, just that you think it through before you do it. So, the last category we're going to talk about is comfort and convenience. Now, like I said, as we get older, we start pushing 50 years old, maybe pushing 60, having that added comfort and convenience, definitely a benefit. So let's talk about the 3 most common modifications that you could do to your Jeep to increase your comfort and convenience. So the first one I want to talk about is LED headlights. Now, there's a huge debate online as to whether or not people should even have LED headlights, and I'm not going to take sides one way or another, but I am going to say that as one of the most common upgrades in this category is replacing your headlights with ones that have a much broader beam to them. The factory halogen headlights, especially on a Wrangler, they kind of suck. You can't really see anything. So if you get caught on a trail or caught on a back road with no street lights after dark, well, you're squinting and you're looking really hard just to make sure you're not going to hit anything. Having a nice set of LED lights, which are relatively inexpensive, by the way, changes your entire perspective of things when it comes to off-road and late night on-road driving. So the next thing we're going to talk about is going to be on the interior. Your radio. I'm not 100% familiar with the 2025s that are coming out. And I heard that there is some major upgrades to the convenience of the stereo system that's in the new ones. But I can tell you that pretty much everything older than 2024, the factory radio sucks. I mean, yes, it's got some interesting features to it, but I mean, compared to modern day technology, I mean, come on. So, a replacement aftermarket radio that gives you more satellite access, that gives you much larger buttons, perhaps better sound quality, as well as control over forward facing or rear facing cameras and so on and so forth. Definitely, definitely a well considered upgrade. So there are a lot of options for that too. And I'm not going to get into which one's better, but I can tell you there are several videos on my channel where I've played with the radios in a few Jeeps, and I've actually been really impressed for something that's relatively inexpensive. Now, the last thing in this category that I see a lot of newbies searching for that really fills the need for convenience is going to be a good quality roof rack. Now, again, I'm not here to recommend particular brands or a particular style. That's really up to you. But I am here to say from experience, there's not a whole lot of cargo space in one of these things, especially if you're out for more than just a day. I mean, try putting your wife and kids and 5 days worth of camping gear in the back of this thing and still have room to breathe. It's possible, but it's extremely difficult. So, to make it more convenient, having that extra storage up on top of the vehicle is a great idea. So, folks, I'm not saying that that's it. Okay. After that, you're done Jeep's build. Not by any means. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is the most customizable vehicle in the world. You could do whatever you want. But in my research and my time with these classes that I've been holding and these people that I've met all over the country that are brand new into the sport, those are pretty much the top ones that people are looking at. Off-road capability, comfort and convenience, and long-lasting durability. Because at the end of the day, that's pretty much what we all want out of the vehicle, right? So there's one more point that I want to make when it comes to modifying the vehicle that I think a lot of people also skip over, and that is take your time. There's absolutely no rush to it. Okay. Everything that you change on the vehicle is going to change some sort of behavior on the vehicle. So after you make a change, drive it, use it, get to know it. And then that might help you down the road decide what the next change is going to be. So, like I said, these are just the observations I've made over the last few years on where beginners generally start in those categories when it comes to modifying their vehicle. So, now it's your turn. Okay. And this is where it gets really, really exciting. One, feel free to put down in the comments where you are on your build. Okay. What kind of Jeep you drive and where you started with your modifications. What was the first thing you did to make it personal just for you? But that's not the best part. In addition to putting a comment below, I would love to actually hear from you. So here's what I'm suggesting. Shoot me an email at yasmarproductions@gmail.com. Tell me your story. Tell me your story, one, of why you bought the Jeep to begin with, two, where you started with your build, and three, where you plan on going with it. And if you want to include how the Jeep itself over time has completely changed your life, believe me, I would love to hear that story. And hey, include a few pictures or a video clip if you want, because in an upcoming video on this channel, I'm going to share my story on how I got started in this world and what convinced me that Jeep was actually the right vehicle for me. And you're going to be surprised at where I started and how young I looked, because I'm going to show you some pictures. So I might just feature your story along with my story in that video. So seriously, guys, this could be a lot of fun. Shoot me an email, yasmarproductions@gmail.com. Tell me your story. Send me some pictures. And you know what? if I include it, I'll let you know before the video comes out that you're going to be included. So that's it for today, folks. Once again, my name is Josh. This is Jeeping for Beginners. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm here to answer them all. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel and share it with your friends, because even if you're not confident in your Jeep story, you might know somebody who has an awesome Jeep story that should be featured on an upcoming video. So in the meantime, folks, stay safe, happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time. So, folks, I just wanted to mention real quick, the website is back up and running, finally. Thanks to the diligent efforts of the folks over at web.com, the threat has been canceled and the website is back up and running. So, as always, there's a link in the description below if you want to check that out. But before you go, please don't click away just yet. I have two things I want to point out. One, you should check out this video. This is the one I was talking about earlier in this video about wheel sizing to match your lift. It's going to cover backspacing and offset. So check that out. Or if you want, you can see the glimpse into why I drive a Jeep. I'm going to put that video right here because I'm actually really proud of that one too. So one of these two, check them out.